Works and grounds.
At the last meeting, the last budget meeting we had, all the departmental budgets were approved, but Public Works and Grounds, and the agreement was to work on those budgets tonight and see if we can finalize the Public Works and Grounds budgets tonight before we have our joint meeting next week with the Finance Committee. So Dave and Craig are both here to answer any questions you might have.
Dave, can you explain the sand issue again? Because my I'm sorry, not the sand, but the salt.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is that there was going to be a carryover of tonnage of salt into next year. Is that,
yeah,
how much?
I think that we're going to wind up at about 110 tons in inventory, and we typically pre-treat the sand that we buy, between 50 and 100 pounds of salt per yard of sand. So we had projected purchasing 1,500 yards of sand. So that would be 75 of those tons. So that would leave in the 35 tons in the carryover.
Okay, I thought it was going to be 105 in the carryover.
Could be.
I thought that's what we talked at the last meeting. I figured it was 105 tons.
Yeah, I have those notes in my storm sheet. I thought we were going to talk about the tools, but that's I figured it was right in there. We did go out one more time. We only used 2 tons.
And that's how much is it for a ton of salt?
$64.25. According to International Salt, that price should be going down again. That price has actually gone down for every year that I've been here.
How much did the RSU use?
They used about 110.
Because I have a question in that, because if we're giving it to them at what we pay for it, yet they're using our equipment, which we're responsible to maintenance, we're actually losing money. Because if you have to put tires on the tractor, service the tractor and everything else, we're actually loading, they may be using equipment, you're not supplying people, but we're paying for them to load the salt with our equipment.
This was just the first year that they've ever done it. So Kenny wanted to try it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall last year when we did all the sweeping. RSU 10, they hired us to sweep, and we put that money in our account. But I think it was about $3,800.
This year, no, 52 times. That what you?
It was in the area of 50 times.
Yeah.
But RSU 10 typically has used a lot of salt and sand, and they were trying to cut down on their man hours because it takes less man hours when you use salt. And clean up in the spring, but also clean up of the schools.
Yeah.
And actually, if you've gone over to the Peru school, there's 0 cleanup over there. Last year, I took off 2 or 3 dump truck loads off of that one school.
So what I was looking at is we have 750 tons of salt budgeted. So our budget for salt looks like 750 tons, yet 100 tons were RSU. And then we got 110 left over. So we basically used about 540 tons.
No.
If we got 110 left over, RSU used 100. The town of Dixfield used 140 tons.
No.
Did you budget for 750 tons last year?
We got money. We got monies back from RSU 10, which we put into the salt account. That we purchased more salt. I think I purchased was 770 or something. I had all those notes in my other. But I went right to International Salt. Actually, what I had purchased, what RSU 10 had paid for. So I subtracted that plus what I had in inventory, what I had left in my budget to see.
You put back the money into the account of the 100 tons that RSU used.
Yes.
So we used 640 tons instead.
We've used about 6. Well, that's that's a good guess.
Mhm.
I mean, we basically figure a yard is 2,640 pounds, but, you know, the backhoe holds a yard, well, depends on who's using it.
That goes by the poundage, I check
Right,
into that.
right, so, and also the humidity within the salt, you can
Mhm.
vary somewhat, but
Yeah.
that's close enough.
How much did you carry over last year?
We did, it was about 50, I think, it was 50 or 60, it was enough to do
To do the sand?
Yes, and the reason why it's a good thing to use that stuff that you carry over into the sand is because we close the doors, but you get humidity and whatnot over the summer. You cross and the salt loses its goodness.
And the other issue, on tools, the last time we had talked, you said the tools were something that you guys would like to have, but it wasn't an absolute necessity to have.
It varies. That varies a little bit, and it's already gonna vary, because something broke today.
Something broke today, what
Yeah,
broke
the
today?
the portable grease gun, battery grease gun, it's like 4 years old, and that's, I didn't expect it to.
The come along, now is that something that, the porta power to come along, is that something that was broken? Because in 2011 budget, it was in that budget too.
I never bought them, because stuff came up. I brought my own good one, come along in, and let the town use it, and I borrowed a porta power from Rusty's when he was up here to get us by, instead of just purchasing one, because other stuff came up. So now, if we can, I'll buy it, but if not, something else might come up.
Because I was talking to Val the other day
Yeah.
about those two exact tools.
It varies, because
Yeah.
you get halfway through the year and something breaks that you really need. Scott knows, because he's with tools a lot.
Like we had that big axle wrench when we were doing that work on
Yeah.
Leo's truck. Well, that came up.
I don't see us just going out and buying it just to buy it, you know, if I don't. You know, like right now, I don't need a porta power. And if somebody's got one I can borrow and I only need it for one day, I'll borrow it,
Yeah.
you know. If that's the way you guys wanna do it, you know.
And you said, the come along that you have there now is yours?
It's mine, and it's a good CM come along.
Mhm.
The town has a cheap one.
Those little jets, they're not much good.
I'm fine with letting the town use it, you know, I've got a portable porta van that's very nice, and I let the town use it, I bring it in, you know. Save money.
My only question is, if we go with the money, is it gonna get bought? Because it didn't get bought last time.
Should I, or should I? I
It's
mean,
just, I guess that's my point, you budgeted for it last time and it never got purchased. I understand other things come up, but.
I mean, I can buy it.
We have an
I was gonna
emergency.
say, if we're gonna budget for it, we should buy it, is how I'm looking at it.
Yep, which I'm
Just
fine with
just
that.
because it wasn't, it was budgeted last time and not bought.
Yep, I'm fine with that, I just didn't know, say it comes,
The price seems a little stiff is all, because
that
like I
was,
said,
that was internet price. from
well, I talked to
Granger.
Val on the Medco truck, and there's a lot more of it.
Is that for CM?
Hmm?
CM?
Don't know, I don't know what he exactly
CM
had.
was
His
CM.
purchase
It's like
price.
50 bucks.
Yeah, CM's a good name, man, that's what we used to use in the mill, so. I just didn't, I mean, say we purchase it in August, July, and November comes, and I'm like, ooh, I need this, but I don't have the money in there. You know, then I'm like, oh, how do I do this? You know, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
I'd just like to interject one thing. I think we have to value these guys and their knowledge of what they need for a job. And, I've said it before, and I'll keep saying that this is a budget, this is an estimate, this is what we think our crystal ball is gonna need. But if these guys don't need a porta power, but they need another tool that's critical to accomplish a job, they shouldn't feel like they can't get that other tool because they've made a commitment to put down exactly what was in that budget. And I think you've got to give these guys the leeway to know that what you're proving is a bottom line tools budget. It's going to be $5,000, and they're going to use their professional judgment to buy the tools they need to get the job done. And that might alter somewhat from the list that they give you. It's been going on for a couple of years now, and I just don't want them to think that now things have changed, or maybe they have, if this is going to be a board policy, you buy exactly what's in the budget. then these guys will do it. I know they will, but I think you gotta give them the freedom to buy what they need when they need it. And just know you're allowing the tool budget.
Is at any point in time that if you needed to come along in that you couldn't come back to us?
I could, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm at, you know, it's not like just because they didn't buy it with what they got money now, that they can't come back and ask for it. I understand what you're saying about budget to have money
If
to
the
buy
dollar
whatever.
value was there.
Right.
The dollar
You know,
value.
we have to find the money then somewhere, and it becomes a town budget, so where do we get the money
But
from?
this money is gonna end up staying back in there. It's gonna end up
No,
in
but my point is, if they need something else next fall, and it's not in the budget, and come back to us, then we have to find that extra money somewhere.
we gotta find it now.
Historically, Dave, how much do you spend on tools a year? For like, if you could average out the last 3 years.
3 years ago, I think it was like 200. Last year was 2,400, and this year I'm asking for 2,350. I think it's right around that number.
You're responsible for buying the tools, you know, whatever needs to be purchased for tools.
And I have all my personal tools down there,
Mm-hmm.
which I let everybody use, and, you know, but if something gets broke, I replace it, you know.
We had 2,400 budgeted last year, and we spent 2,288 as of the 29th of March.
It's just we're responsible to find the money, whether we give it to you now or give it to you when you need it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not gonna get it,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. If it didn't get purchased last time, you know,
I'm a little bit hesitant about borrowing tools, because, you know, I have a lot of tools, and I borrowed a lot of tools to town, lifting belts and whatnot, but if that breaks, and one of the guys gets hurt, that's not a good thing. You know, I mean, it should really be town stuff. You know, where I've actually used my riding lawnmower for doing those cemeteries up in Science Hill, because it'll fit in between the wheel wells of the four-wheel drive truck that you need to get up that road with, so you can get it off the truck and into the, you know, ours won't fit. But technically, mine probably doesn't have all the safety features that ours do. Isn't inspected as well, so if someone got hurt by it, probably not a good thing.
You also on that, tools and, you all set? I just had another question.
go
about
ahead, I've
culverts,
got other
so.
questions.
I had one about, you had 6 culverts, replacement culverts listed
Yes,
that you wanted to purchase
yes.
for next year. And you said, what was the number that you said you'd like to have?
I
You know, like
I would-
in inventory.
An inventory, well, if I figured maybe 3 of those could possibly be going on an asphalt surface, so that would take usually 3 20-foot lengths. If you're crossing an asphalt, typical. So that would be 9 lengths, and then the other one would be gravel road, typically 2, and then I figured 3 of each, and I do have a little bit of inventory for like driveway culverts. The policy in the town is that we have kind of a unique policy here. The homeowner purchased the first driveway culvert, and hereafter the town pays for it. So that's
The property owner buys the first one, and then when it
first
needs to
one.
be replaced, the town pays
Yeah.
for
the
it?
town pays for it. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's real good policy, but that's
Where-
the existing policy.
Where is that policy that says you'll buy private property owners culverts if they?
Could be in the roads, it could be in the street standards or subdivision. I remember reading it, I just don't
Well,
remember where it was.
We like to sell them the culverts when they're putting them in, if they're putting in a new driveway, because I've come across some I've replaced that apparently were found somewhere where they're flipped up, rusted out on the top, and then they collapse. Well, then the next one's on the town. Well, the culvert is probably not the most expensive part. When you dig it out, use the equipment, whatnot.
So, not only are we providing a free culvert, we're providing the
Yeah,
time and.
yeah, that's the policy, a town policy. That's probably
You've
not
got
a
to
good
remember those
policy.
culverts are in the public way. Most driveways at the end of the street where they are attaching to the street is the public way.
It's like the-
So generally, when a
Yeah.
homeowner's building a house, they're building a driveway. They install the culvert for their driveway first, And then when that fails, because it's in the public way, I think if the town picks up
Does
after
it
that.
specifically state that, or does it just say
I'd have to go look.